carried. Okay, moving next to 7.2, Matthew Nicol, resident, with respect to transition to Society 5.0 and the effects on residents of Mississauga through economic, social, and environmental means. Good morning, Matthew. Welcome back.
Good morning, Councillor Mahoney, and Happy New Year, everyone. There we go. So I titled this Canada Moonshot Goals and Since Making Transition to Society 5.0. So this is in regards to the biodigital convergence, also known as the Nano-Bio-Info-Cogno experiment, nano for nanotechnology, bio for bioengineering or biotech, gene editing, info for IT, cogno for cognitive science. So the term Moonshot program, Moonshot goes back to the 1960s US space program during the JFK administration. And the House of Commons Standing Committee on Science and Research aims to resolve social and environmental problems through research and development programs, working with international partners. So your urban agriculture strategy mentions food insecurity, and we're going to touch on that eventually. So this lovely lady, Anya Waite, mentions that without mitigating climate change, problems arise like new human health crises, food security challenges, and a weakened economy. And when it comes to weakened economy, some of the solutions provided to this are in the Smart City Master Plan, which go into mobile economy, mobile workplace, and future of work. Think back to my last delegation where I spoke about the gig economy and that sort of a thing. So just some history here. Herbert Simon, an American economist, coined the term attention economy in the late 1960s, which deals with info management, treating human attention as a scarce commodity, applying economic theory to solve information management problems. So basically here, now back to Moonshot program. I don't know why it's blank up there, but AI has been used for data analysis and progress with food security and agriculture, remote connectivity, pharma development, neuroscience, cancer, biotechnology, quantum computing, and climate change modeling. And quantum computing is mentioned in the Mississauga Smart City Master Plan. So then over here on this, once again, blank page, it mentions mitigating climate change through urban agriculture by increasing biodiversity. I don't know why it's literally not working here, but anyway. ISO Technical Committee 331, biodiversity, mentions supporting tool examples including biotechnology for sustainable development. And then Francois Coallier, who's not up there apparently, is the head of the Standards Council of Canada and member of the IEC. And biotechnology is an example of bioengineering along with information communication technologies, which are mentioned in the Smart City Master Plan. And the Canadian government is looking to strengthen research projects. And in the US, DARPA and BARDA are models for moonshot goal research. Other models like U.S. National Institute of Health's BRAIN Initiative and National Cancer Institute as well are mentioned. And Japan's Moonshot Research Development Program are also brought up. And it mentions that the Canadian government collaborates with academic institutions, industry partners, and international allies. So building on U.S. cancer moonshot research, BioCanRx and the University Health Network submitted briefs to the committee, and genetic and stem cell research and personalized medicine was highlighted to the committee. So back to your urban agriculture strategy. Since 2006, Mississauga partnered with Ecosource on the city's community garden program, and Ecosource is funded by Employment and Social Development Canada as well as Novo Nordisk. Hey, there it is, woohoo! So then we get to the, oh, we're back again to problems, that's okay. So Novo Nordisk, their 2030 strategy deals with precision medicine of cardiometabolic disease, which has shared risks like cancer. So then we get to Kristel van der Elst. Hopefully she'll pop up here. She's the CEO of Policy Horizons, and they report through the Deputy Minister of Employment and Social Development Canada, which partners with Ecosource, and they report to the Minister of Jobs and Families. She's also the CEO of the Global Foresight Group and former head of strategic foresight for the WEF. and works for the U.S. Government Accountability Office. It gets into now the future of sense-making with policy horizons. Sense-making drives what people think they know, how they make decisions, and how they behave. It plays a role in overall trust in government and views on democratic institutions and science. And then it gets into changes in our sensing capacities, bodies, and physical environments could change how we sense ourselves, others, and the world, and gets into human enhancement, digitally enhanced prosthetics, technologies that provide touch feedback or haptics, as well as virtual and augmented reality, which are both mentioned in the Smart City Master Plan. Then it gets into the roots of social behavior. Research on biology and social neuroscience clarifies how biological systems and social behaviors interact, and technology imaging brains of people interacting could uncover new ways to nudge human behavior. So the biological effects of social experience, it gets into social epigenetics and how our experiences change us at the molecular level and modify how genes are expressed, and gets into human-machine interfaces for mental health. And then gets into haptics again, and then value shifting, making virtual goods and economies as important as physical counterparts, and environmental conditions could help regulate our bodies and emotions. Discomfort from climate concerns could push toward systems promoting synergy with nature rather than isolation from it. This discomfort could cause them to be more disconnected from natural environments. And then you get into Moonshot goal number 1, which is not showing up here, unfortunately. Social acceptance of people from various social and value backgrounds, normalize these cyber-physical social systems, and convenience for controlling more than one robot and expanding the range of activities. So they advertise going anywhere, basically with a cybernetic avatar, and also that time and money is reduced on travel. And it gets into augmenting physical capabilities for ill and aging people, as well as augmenting aesthetic sense stored into cyberspace implanted into users' brains. And then we get into Martin Maier of the IEEE, who is unfortunately not in front of us here. He works at the Optical Zeitgeist Laboratory, which is part of the Institut National de la Recherche Scientifique in Quebec. Apologies for the French pronunciation. And he sits on a review committee for NSERC. He gets into head-mounted devices and extended reality, which connects avatars and users in real world to metaverse utilizing Web3 technologies, providing gamified experiences, opening the door to the multiverse. And the multiverse is architecture of extended reality experiences, creating cross-reality environments. And then he also touches on haptics, but with regards to touch and taste. And then gets into remote surgery or precision medicine, as we discussed earlier, remote controlling and immersive gaming. He gets into digital twins, which are virtual copies of physical objects. You have monitoring digital twin, which monitors the status of a physical system, like an autonomous car dashboard. A simulation digital twin, which uses simulation tools and machine learning to provide insight about future states. Think about manufacturing and cars and stuff like that. Operational digital twin is what enables operators to interact with a cyber-physical system. And then it gets into digital twins for 6G that can be used to emulate an entity or function like an Internet of Everything device or edge server, or an Internet of Everything service like XR-based healthcare. And tokenization represents a digitalization of value like tokens or coins using the blockchain. And there's a shift from economics to tokenomics. So then we get into from AI to active interference, the key to true AI and 6G world brain, 6G transformation of Earth into world brain, global mind through biomimicry, through human AI interaction networked into a cyber-physical ecosystem, and forests regulate resources with mycorrhizal fungal networks. And then there should be a picture here, unfortunately, for fungal networks basically being the ground or fiber optic communications, and scent mails for air or wireless communications. It gets into circular causality, which is the core concept of cybernetics. The core concept of cybernetics is used to biomimic the root brain, where plants anchored in soil by the brain with the sexual organs in the air, for symbiosis between the internet and human, creating the interbeing. And then it gets into symbiogenesis, which are where organisms growing together become one for mutual benefits, and circular causality, which gets into teleological mechanism for a feedback-controlled metaverse. So I guess that's it. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Matthew. That was very interesting. Councillor Reid.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Matthew, thank you so much for joining us again. And just so council knows, I did have a chance to sit down with Matthew, and we had our IT director, Ryan Lim, who is up here in the audience as well, sit down and have this conversation. And they were able to kind of unpack a little bit more about the Smart City Initiative and have that conversation that was way beyond my comprehension. So I'm glad that these conversations are being had. Thank you so much for joining us again today. And I really appreciate your time that you take to educate us on this.
Councillor Fonseca.
Thank you, through you, Chair. Good morning, Happy New Year, Matthew. It's wonderful that you're here today. As Councillor Reid was saying, with you packed a lot into those 10 minutes. It was brought to my attention, actually, after your last deputation, that you are a resident of Ward 3. I have never had the pleasure to meet with you offline, and so I'm extending the invitation as I did through an email. I'm very excited to be able to meet with you offline, and interestingly enough, right before the holidays, we had a group. There was about 85 youth from different high schools in Ward 3 that came together because of this council approving a youth hub at Glen Forest in Ward 3, and a number of the items that you have focused in on, and action items that we need to be focusing in on as a city, these young youth also brought up. So hopefully offline, not only after you meet with me, I will also be able to connect you with some of these young youth, very bright minds in Ward 3 that have some of the ideas and action items that you have expressed today, and then want to move forward with them with support of the city. So thank you again for being here, and I look forward to meeting with you offline. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm willing to discuss this with anybody offline. As you mentioned, I've already had the conversation with Martin and Ryan, and I'm looking forward to that with you as well. But the one thing I'll say too, just in regards to how you bring up education and with our youth, I never learned about the biodigital convergence in school. I never went to school to be an engineer personally, but I'm just saying it's never been my experience to ever be taught about it in a classroom. It was brought to my attention by my friend James Scott, who Martin had the pleasure of meeting himself along with Ryan. So, and I would also recommend extending that invitation to him if you are open to that. But my concern, the reason why I came here, I'll just share very briefly. So I titled this sense making because that's literally a term used by Policy Horizons, and they talk about cognitive nudges to basically kind of push people to accept gamified Web3 technologies and this kind of a thing, and we kind of see this transition already happening with different aspects. For instance, the fact that libraries are cashless, right, with the exception of, I think, Central Library here isn't. So you can kind of see that that is already a push and shift from basically the current state of economics into tokenization. So yeah, that's just what I kind of wanted to say.
Thank you, Matthew. I think what Councillor Fonseca is offering too is to bring you in kind of discussion groups with like-minded individuals to further this conversation, not necessarily in a scholastic setting. So I think that'd be a great opportunity to have some forums and discussions. And the Youth Hub is something that I know that the Mayor has championed, and the next one's going in Ward 3. We have one in Ward 5, and this is just an opportunity to engage. So I think that's a great idea. Mayor Parrish.
Yes, thank you. I first of all feel like I was back in university and stumbled into the wrong class. A lot of what you're talking about is way above my head. I am admitting that publicly. As a former teacher, though, I would like to suggest to you that when you do your presentations, and they're very fascinating, you go too quickly, and you need to stop and categorize each thing that you're presenting. I'm sorry your slides didn't work, because they help usually. But to categorize it and say, okay, this is what the city needs to understand, or this is what the city folks need to study further. And I think it would make it more relative and understandable for all of us, because you are a whirlwind. You just come in here like a little tornado, and when you leave, we all kind of look at each other and go, wow. But I don't think we retain much of what you tell us. So I'm not speaking for everybody, I'm speaking for myself. So I would just ask you, first of all, I hope it wasn't us that wrecked your slides. If your slides are out of order and messed up, that's an apology if it's ours, but if it's yours, you should make sure they work. Make sure you slow down a little bit, and make sure you tie each section into something that we can do, that we can respond to. Otherwise, we're not really learning anything from you. So that's the old teacher in me. But you're doing, I mean, you're quite fascinating. But I would like to be able to retain more of what you tell me.
Well, for sure. If I understand that I only have 10 minutes here, so I kind of am sort of forced to speak fast, right, in this setting. But obviously, again, with any of the offline meetings, or if there was a public setting where there was more time allotted, then I could definitely slow down for sure. So I apologize for that. As for the slides not working, they worked for me. So not trying to just shift the blame on you guys or anything, but they worked for me. But if, besides speaking to me, of course, about this subject, I mean, your best point of contact would probably be Ryan Lim from IT here, or anybody else in the city of Mississauga, or really anybody I mentioned in my delegation. I mean, they don't seem to want to return my phone calls, though, so.
Well, you are a fascinating character, and obviously very impressive, and you want to impart knowledge to others, which is always a good thing. I would take Councillor Fonseca's offer up. She's going to have a fantastic youth hub working. And you're going to get young people in there that would be mesmerized by you, and you could sit and take your time and work with them. So something that she's offered, and I would second, and I'd love to come and watch you work with them. Thank you.
Sure. Yeah, I'll follow up with you via email or phone call, whatever works, Councillor Fonseca. Thank you.
Once a teacher, always a teacher, Madam Mayor. So
100%.
Appreciate that. And thank you so much, Matthew, for coming again. And Councillor Fonseca, and you will connect and further that discussion. So Councillor Fonseca, will you move your seat? Thank you so much. All in favor? That is carried. Thanks again.
All right. Have a good day, everyone. Thank you.
You too. Madam Clerk, anything for public question period? We do not have anything for public question period. That will bring us to our consent agenda.